Yo, what's up, you guys? Two things I'm going to say to you guys. Happy Monday. And second of all, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, subscribe. And if you want to share this channel with some of your friends, I would highly appreciate it. So, further ado. Yo, what's up, you guys? Make sure you like, subscribe, turn that bell on. And my schedule is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Different videos in those days. Let's get right into the video.
On is that they don't want their kids to get into trouble with the law. Getting a speeding ticket, well, it happens and can be a learning experience. Vandalism, that is bad, should be corrected immediately, but it can be curbed over time. However, there are some crimes that can't be undone or forgiven very easily. And while it may shock you to hear that there are plenty of kids and teens that have done some of these unforgivable acts and have gone to prison for them, sometimes for a very long time. Join us as we have a look at 20 of the youngest kids who were sentenced to prison. Number 20, Christian Fernandez. Now, I'm not joking when I say that all of these kids are teens who committed these crimes. So if you're not up for hearing such a story, you should probably go somewhere else. On March 14th of 2011, 2-year-old David Galarraga was left at his Jacksonville, Florida home under the supervision and care of his older half-brother, Christian Fernandez, despite the fact that Christian had already broken David's leg while wrestling with him 2 months prior. Why someone would wrestle with a 2-year-old is beyond me, but that should have been a warning flag to the parents that this 12-year-old might not have been all there. Case in point, after the mother had left, Christian decided to get a little rough with David, which also included shoving him into a bookcase multiple times. This act would leave David unconscious, and when his mother returned, he brought her in to see his stepbrother to find out what was going on with him. And this is where things get maddening, because she didn't call 911 or even take the young child to the hospital. She just cleaned him up and went about things. Eventually, a few hours later, when David was still unconscious, that's when she took him to the hospital. 2 days later, he would die to his injuries. Christian Fernandez was initially arrested for aggravated.
How? That breaks my heart. Man, didn't even take your son to the. That breaks my heart.
Child abuse, but after David's death on June the 3rd of 2011, he would be indicted for first degree. The mother was arrested for assault and negligence due to going to the hospital. It's believed that if she had gone, David could have very well survived, but instead she did nothing until it was basically too late. Now, there was an argument for the case of Christian Fernandez as to
Man, that's sad.
To prison for life was humane, and it's a
Life in prison.
and has affected many laws as a result.
Man, sad.
Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face. Number 19, The Bathtub Girls. This was a title that was
The Bathtub Girls.
Canada, their mother. The irony of the story is that nobody knows their real names or the name of the mother that was. And why is that? Well, it's because in Canada, the law prohibits their names from being released outside of the judicial system. This is likely to prevent a media blitz from doing some digging or people harassing those
Man,
who are
Bathtub
associated with
Girls.
the or the victims. Now, while their names, for a long time at least, were shrouded in mystery, the motives were not, because the two sisters had a mother who was an alcoholic, and she was not the caretaker that they wanted or needed.
Man, that.
It was bad, the mother would constantly squander their money so that she could get more booze to drink. This slowly warped the daughter's way of thinking, and they hated their mother because they didn't have nice things like all their other friends. As such, they put her in the bathtub. But that wouldn't be the best way to handle things, right? Except that it was all part of a plan. They realized that if their mother accidentally drowned in a place like the bathtub, they could collect some insurance money from her death and would be able to travel to Europe with their friends who had actually encouraged the act to be done. And with friends like these, I mean, who needs enemies? They did the deed and actually
That's sad.
for some time, But then one of the people that they confessed the crime to came forward, and with police help, they were able to be arrested.
Man, that's
Due to
sad.
Being 15 and 16, they received 10 years in prison, but only served 4, and have been laying low ever since. Number 18, Brenda Spencer.
I'll be 18 in 10 days? 20 days? I don't know.
School shooting. At first, it was almost inconceivable that such a thing could occur, but then over the course of many years, more and more people began to do the
Doesn't that look like a young Jeffrey Dahmer?
Become commonplace for it to happen
A little bit.
multiple, if not dozens of times a year. One of the most infamous school shooters was Brenda Spencer. She was only 16 years old in 1979 when she decided to go into an elementary school in San Diego, California with a gun and fire at things, but it was her explanation that chilled people to the bone. She said that it was because she hated Mondays and that the shooting would liven things up. Like
Why
I
would
said,
you...
it's chilling, if not
Mondays?
disturbing.
Bro,
After
do it on
police
Friday. I don't condone any of that, but do it on Pacific Day, bro? What the fuck, bro? Pacific Day, what the, bro? Get stupid.
The signs were there that something wasn't right with Brenda. For example, her father, Wallace, was an avid gun collector, and she was apparently very much in love with him. Not what you would expect from a young girl in the 60s and 70s. And she also had a record of theft and drug abuse, which definitely didn't bode well for
Man,
her.
this girl needs some help.
She had fired on the school with a BB gun in the year previous.
Bro.
And raised too many alarms
Really?
outside of getting arrested for damaging the windows. Her father also refused advice to get her checked out for mental illness, and it was a miracle that more people were not hurt in that shooting, and for it to be done by someone so young is equally as
At least she didn't kill a lot of people.
Number 17, Eric Smith.
Eric
The
Smith.
next one is particularly brutal and senseless.
I heard about
1993,
this motherfucker.
a dark day occurred in Savannah, New York.
Ginger
A young
ass.
boy named Derek Roby, who was just 4 years old, was walking down the sidewalk and headed to a camp that was just down the street. His mother let him go on his own for the first time, and it would soon become the last. That's because on the way over, he would meet 13-year-old Eric Smith, who told him to follow him into the nearby woods because he knew a shortcut to the park. Not knowing the danger that he was in, Derek went along, and once they were a good distance into the woods, Derek by strangling him and beating him with rocks. With a killer at large, Savannah residents feared for
That's
their own
so
safety.
fucking messed up. That's hurtful. Damn. Beat that dude with a rock, bro.
But most importantly,
Little
they
kid with
didn't
the rock.
suspect a child of doing it. They felt that it was someone from outside their small town, but they were wrong, and it would be someone close to Eric who would figure out the truth. Specifically, a family member talked with Eric, who wondered out loud what would happen if the killer was a kid. Once the family member realized that Eric knew or had done something, his family then took him to the police. It was there that Eric not only confessed, but said that he actually enjoyed the act. And due to the time period, Eric Smith was sentenced to a period between 9 years and life. After the initial sentencing was done, he was then denied parole, and every 2 years he would try again. The Roby family kept telling them to deny it, and they kept accepting the request. That is until the year 2021, when at the age of 42 years old, he would be granted parole and was released in February of 2022. He now lives in Quebec, New York. Number
Well, he got out. Wow. Alright.
There are sadly many different types of killers out there, including the ones who, when they're quite young. However, most acknowledge that the worst killer is a serial killer, because they often kill numerous people before they're caught or finish with their
So
lives.
many
These
bleeps,
serial
bro.
killers become a big part of the culture while they're at large, and often get the spotlight in Hollywood via documentaries and books and such. But a child serial killer, that's not really likely, right? Well, meet Amarjeet Sada, who would have something to say about
That's
that.
a fun name.
This young boy
Amarjeet
was
Sada.
7 years old. He had already killed 3 people. According to reports, when he was 7 years old, he killed his cousin, who was 6 at the time, and later his sister, a baby of just 8 months. The reason that he was allowed to continue with his
So many babies are getting killed, bro. That's shocking.
was because the family covered them up for a long time. They said that it was a family problem and that they
Family problems, yeah, that's what they all say. Fucking, I stuttered too fucking much.
That is some strange and strained logic. Media accounts would claim that when he was taken into arrest, he grinned widely and displayed no.
I hope you guys can hear me because I got myself a new mic.
No concept of the line between right and wrong, and thus he had no issues with those who were close to him. But there is another twist to the tale, and that's as of July.
Dang, he's on crack.
The serial got away and is at large. There are a lot of details that are still unknown, but knowing what he did when he was 8 years old, you have to wonder
It's
what
fucked
he's
up.
up to now. Number 15, Daniel Bartlum. Here's a story that sadly
Bartlum.
might get some people to restrict what their children watch, because in the UK, a boy named Daniel Bartlum killed his mother when he was just 14 years old. Just as bad, the idea for the murder.
He's saying fucked. Okay.
That's right. He was inspired by television to kill his mother in a certain way, and in this case, that would be by beating her to death with a claw hammer. And then, after doing the deed, he took the body to his mother's room and set it on fire. But he was not done yet, because at first Daniel told police that a burglar had come into the home and seemingly killed his mother. However, in the end, he was happy to confess to it in part. When he was placed in court, he did admit that he killed his mother, but said that it was an
Beat your
accident,
mother, put her in a fireplace? That's fucked
that led
up.
them to getting into a position where he
I love
fell.
my mom.
But the jury and judge were not fooled by any of it. They convicted him of the crime and sentenced him to potential life in prison with a minimum of 16 years served before anything else could take place. The judge described the killings as grotesque and senseless and said that it appeared that Bartlum had wanted to get away with the perfect murder. Given that he did get the idea from television, it's not too far off. After all,
Man,
those stories are
getting those things on
depicted
television,
so they're trying to get away with
man.
it all in the end. But that's the thing that Daniel
I
cannot
distance
do.
myself from all
Just
that
like
shit.
every criminal in those shows gets caught by one thing or another, and it's never the perfect crime that they originally seek. If he had remembered that, he might not have gotten caught. Number
True.
14, Mary Bell. Female serial killers are very rare in the world, and it's not known why. But that statistic gets a new light when you hear about how Mary Bell was only 10 years old when she became a serial killer. She would first strangle a 4-year-old
Bro,
victim
that's
and
creepy
write
as fuck.
confession notes for his family, and 2 months later she then mutilated a 3-year-old boy. But how could such a young child grow into such a person? Well, her life was not
Fucking
always easy.
creepy ass.
Her mother was in the business, if you get my drift, and so when she was born, she demanded that doctors take the thing away from her. So much for a mother's love. Things only get darker and weird from there, and the signs that something was wrong with Mary would grow. That included a series of incidents and accidents that happened with other young children. She attempted to strangle some young kids, and her only punishment would be a scolding. Mary Bell would eventually go to prison for her actions and serve 12 years, and as for where she is now, nobody knows. That might be for the best, given what we do already know that she's capable of.
Damn.
Number 13.
Bro, it's creepy as fuck.
Sadly, these stories aren't getting any easier to tell, and the story of Roxana Sikorsky's not any different. When she committed her crime, she was 15 years old, and her goal at the time was to kill her entire family. But that's where things get a little tricky, because you see, at the time, she had a boyfriend who was much older than her, and as a result, many felt that he had
Dating a 50-year-old, I see.
for one reason or another. Two people who believed the story were Roxana's adoptive parents. They took the child in when she was young, and after being abused by her biological parents, however, she wasn't able to form great relationships with them due to the abuse of her past. She apparently did not have any issues forming a bond with her adult boyfriend. When the night came to fulfill the plot, she sliced her brother's throat open but couldn't do the rest of the deed. At the court hearing for Roxana, both of her adopted parents scorned the court for how they were conveying her and begged them not to put her in prison for a long time. They stated that she needed psychological help and not prison time. Sadly for them, the court did not see it that way, and they put her behind bars for 10 to 20 years, and when told of her sentence, she cried and apologized to everyone. Was this a ploy to gain some sympathy, or was she genuinely remorseful for what she had done to her adoptive family? You'll have to decide that one for yourself in the comments down below. Number 12.
I can't even talk about that, man.
In 2001, 14-year-old Lionel would be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the death of 6-year-old Tiffany Eunuch that had occurred 2 years prior. He was the youngest person in the United States to ever be given that sentence. That alone should tell you the severity of what happened. But what exactly did happen, and how it was allowed to occur? Well, it begins with Lionel's mother, who was asked to watch over Tiffany by a friend of hers.
That is so
Happily
sad,
accepted,
bro.
and at one point during the night,
Little
she
kids
went
die
upstairs
every
and
day.
left Lionel with Tiffany. Much
That's
like
so
another
messed
child on
up.
this list, Lionel thought that it would be fun for the two to wrestle, even though he was much bigger than the 6-year-old girl. And surely enough, after 10 p.m., Lionel would go to his mother and say that Tiffany wasn't breathing. By that point, she was already dead. But was it the wrestling moves that killed her, or perhaps something else? Many refute Lionel's story because of the extent of her injuries. Tiffany had a cracked skull, a broken rib, a lacerated liver,
Damn.
damaged kidneys, and bleeding on her brain, along with dozens
Yeah,
of
he
bruises
wasn't
on her body.
wrestling. He was
Claimed
killing
he had
her.
in a headlock and that she herself
He was
did
smashing
the
her
table.
brains
If
in.
that was true, it wouldn't explain the injuries to the rest of her body. Number 11, T.J. Lane.
T.J.
You know
Lane?
the phrase, "It's always the quiet ones."
Oh, the
Well,
dude that
T.J.
smiled.
is the worst case scenario of that phrase because he was only 17 years old when he decided to go to school with a gun and shoot 3 people that were at a table. He admitted his crime and did not offer a reason and would be sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences, all without parole. There's a lot that's still unknown about the shooting, and by all accounts, TJ was someone who didn't mind keeping to himself, but everyone knew that he had a problematic family. History that would eventually come out as people dove deeper into what occurred. It also did not help that TJ escaped from the facility in which he was held. He was captured a few hours later. That definitely put a lot of fear into people. What this goes to show is that you don't really know what someone is capable of until they do.
He laughed. He scoffed at.
Others.
He scoffed at. I think I heard about him before.
Number 10, Antonio Barbeau. Here's another one that is both tricky and
Very fun word, Antonio Barbeau.
Antonio Barbeau was great-grandmother. What's more, he killed her in such a brutal fashion at her home when he was only 14 years old. But where the tricky part comes in is that even though he was willing to confess to the crime, there were questions about his mental state. Apparently, Antonio Barbeau was hit by a car when he was 10 years old, and as a result of that, he developed cognitive issues that would affect him throughout the next 4 years. These issues would lead to his great-grandmother's. So, should he have been put in jail for such a long time? It's hard to say, as we don't know how real the statements were.
These
But
killings make me sad, bro.
for up to 36 years. Number 9. Derek and Alex
Some of them
Another
have
dovetail
remorse,
comes
and
from
some of them don't.
Derek and Alex King, their father with a baseball bat. Then they set the house on fire. But again,
Kill the person with the baseball bat, lit it on fire. So messed up, dude.
Because for a long time, many people believed that someone unrelated to the boys was actually responsible for the death. The boys even lied about what had happened to protect this man so that he could take the fall for them. There were even 2 different cases with them and the other man being labeled the killer, depending on which case it was in. Eventually, the judge put the case into mediation.
Wow, this is
8 years
insane.
for one son and 7 for the other.
Bro.
If the trial had been carried out as planned, they could have easily gotten 30 years apiece. Their mother lamented the ruling because she felt that the boys didn't know what was coming. Number 8.
Well, she had to know what was coming.
In 1874, Jesse Pomeroy became the youngest ever convicted of first degree in Massachusetts. He was only 14 years old.
18 what? 1873?
And he would spend the rest of his life in jail before dying in 1932. There's little doubt that Jesse's life before the was responsible for setting up his actions. He was born with a defect that would leave him bullied by many. That included his family, and Jesse then took that frustration out on people, mainly other children. He was hurting them in various ways for years before then deciding to kill them. Given the time period, people were stunned when the truth became revealed. He was the youngest serial killer in American history, but as we've revealed, he would not be the last of his young kind. Number 7.
Man, that's so sad.
Joshua Phillips. The next one's disturbing for one very simple reason. When Joshua Phillips was 14, he decided to murder a young girl named Maddie Clifton, who was just 8 years old at the time. That alone is bad, but what was disturbing was that he then took the body and stashed it underneath his bed, and then slept above that dead body for a week before eventually being caught. That's a whole different level of terrible.
That's fucking scary, dude. That's fucking messed up. That's fucking psychotic.
That there's a dead person beneath your bed and doing nothing about it. Again, a whole different level of terrible.
Just
Not
sleeping,
surprisingly, he tried to
loving
lie
it,
his way out,
bro.
but would be sent to prison for quite a long time. Number 6. Anissa Weir and Morgan Geyser. In 2014, Anissa Weir and Morgan Geyser lured Peyton Leutner, who was 12 years old like the other two, to the woods in Wisconsin where Geyser stabbed him 19 times while Weir watched. Leutner was then rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries but survived. That's incredible to think about when you consider how many times she was stabbed and the injuries that she had to endure to get to the hospital in time. The twist is that Anissa Weir was not sent to prison. She was sent to a mental hospital. It was there that she would be sentenced to 25 years within that place, but she only served 3. By her own admission, she felt that she had exhausted the resources of the place and wanted nothing more than to be in society. She did apologize for the stabbing that took place, but the family of Leutner wished that she served more time in that hospital. Number 5. Natsumi Tsuji. Now I'm heading to Japan for a story that became a bit unique after it occurred. Natsumi Tsuji was 11 years old when she quit class.
Man, this is insane.
They were in school when it took place, and Natsumi went right back to class in bloodstained.
Only 3 years? Only 3 years of mental hospital, bro. She should have gotten 25, but you know what? It's alright.
Debates on age and criminal responsibility. She was then sent to be institutionalized.
I don't make the rules, but I would have, you know. I don't know. It's very weird. In my opinion, I think she should have stayed longer than 3 years, but let's continue on here. Okay, who we got here?
Number 4, Nehemiah Grigo. After getting to this point of the video, you honestly have to wonder at points why these young people would do this to others, and for Nehemiah Grigo, that question is ever more impactful. When he was 19 years old, he decided to wipe out his entire family. He put his mother and siblings first,
killed
everybody for his father to come home from work, and then him as well. It would take
killed them, bro. Killed this entire family. Oh my god, this is so just sad and shit to watch, but it's cool to, you know, watch these things because, you know.
Number 3.
Oh, hey guys, if you guys wanna see me do more of these reactions or anything else, leave a comment down below and then I'll pick one to watch.
Merits of for many years, but one small thread that most people
just leave a comment down below.
Used on a consistent basis.
All you gotta do.
Eventually they're going to do something about it, and it usually ends badly for the abuser. Zachary Neagle was one such victim, and his father was allegedly abusing him in the worst of ways. Abuse. One day, Zachary decided to act on it and killed him with a rifle. The question became how.
Well, with the rifle, no, but I don't know. He got abused, so what was gonna happen? You know, most of these kids or teenagers, or what I call them, I'm a teenager too, but it just seems like when they get abused, like it's hard for them to not do those nasty things and stuff. But
trying in court. To the shock of some, he was tried as an adult.
Fucking just insane. Kids come from bad homes and then they do some of this shit.
Shirley Wolf and Cindy Collier. Have you ever met someone that you had an instant connection with and you were basically friends forever, or perhaps something more? Shirley Wolf and Cindy Collier is a worst case scenario for that. They had literally met a day before they did a terrible crime. The two wanted to get out of their small town, and the plan was to steal a car after they had met the owner. The two girls walked to a condo complex and began knocking on doors, and when an elderly woman opened the door and let the two girls in, they then brutally attacked her, stabbing her over 25 times before taking the keys and attempting to steal her vehicle. Shirley Wolf wrote in her diary that night, "Cindy and I ran away and an old lady. It was lots of fun."
Bro, that's fun for you?
And then were released.
Damn, you must have a really sensitive taste of fun.
Conrad Schaefer. Finally, we end up with Conrad Schaefer. He was 15 years old.
Fucking people.
Two people in two very different circumstances. The first one is particularly odd, as he would be riding in a car with someone, pulled out a gun, and then shot a 17-year-old that happened to be leaving their job.
Dead.
Later on that same day, he and another person did a home invasion, and when they did,
Fucking
the owner. Conrad was the one to kill the owner for the murder. For his crimes, he would be given 2 life sentences, and it really makes you wonder why someone would do that and why they would have such thoughts at such a young age. That's all from the realm of children who have gone to jail.
Well, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn that bell on, and a video will be popping up here. No, wait. Here. Bye, guys.